I'm very excited to share with you today that I have a color palette. I spent a long time, months ago, with this new little plastic palette that I got, and I can't move the paints around. So it took me a really long time to decide what to put in it. I wanted to make a granulation palette, but I wanted it to be like landscape colors, and I wanted it to be like happy, upbeat kind of colors, you know, cheerful. I didn't, like, yes, there's black in here, but I didn't want to, like, make a dark, moody, earthy kind of a palette. I wanted to keep it very, like, happy. And landscape and granulating colors. I'll name the colors in a second, don't worry. So there's no, it's interesting that I ended up without a lemony color, lemon, or without a golden yellow, Indian yellow, kind of a warm yellow, like those kinds of colors that I always put in a palette because they're color theory. There's certain colors that are missing in this as a structure, but it still has the yellows and the reds and the blues that fit the different boxes. But instead of being like a bright pyrrole red, I have a Venetian and a Quin pink. So I don't know, the process of spending a lot of time figuring out what the palette will be instead of just moving the paints around, painting with them, then moving the paints to a new tin, because I have magnets on the bottoms of all of my little half pans and full pans, and I move them to new tins and I paint with them for a little while, and I move them to another tin, and every time I'm feeling bad I just move the paints to another tin. And this was a very different mental process. I have been using this palette, you can probably tell, for a while now, and I keep wanting to paint with it, but it doesn't fit. It fits nicely in my lap for like painting in bed. Ooh, I picked up some of the green with that one. That's the next color anyway. But it doesn't fit on my desk for filming. There's no way that I can get both rows. You already can't see the bottom half of the palette while I'm trying to paint this. So I have this new palette. It's a little black tin that holds all of these colors. I will tell you my thought process, and then I will tell you what actually ended up happening. I was like, okay, I have this tin, and what colors from this palette do I absolutely have to have? And then Mom said, there are 21 colors in here. So what tin do you have that holds 21 colors? And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so instead of starting with, I want to use this tin, I guess what colors fit in here, to go, I want to use 21 colors, let's find a tin that holds 21 full pans. And I have one. I had random paints in it. So I pulled the random paints out of there and stuck them in a different tin. And I have poured full pans to add to the colors I already had. And now I have a color palette of all of my colors that, like, every time I paint with all these colors together, they just, like, go well together. There's no color combination that I, like, dislike. Because, you know, like bright orange and bright purple do not look good together. Anyway. I gotta figure out how to... See, this is the problem with this palette. I'm gonna have to hold it now. Because where am I gonna set it? I guess I gotta use a smaller piece of paper. We're not gonna talk about that. So, I'm going to get a chance to paint with all of my colors now in something that just fits better. The other problem that I've had with plastic palettes is I'm using granulating colors, and the granulating colors kind of dry down really hard and then fall out. And there's colors in the lid of this and in the bottom. And I have a different tin, but it already has colors poured into it. Anyway, I don't know if this is going to work. How I can't get to my water. I don't know. Anyway, let me go ahead and name the colors before there's too many here to point out what we have. The first one is Yellow Raw Ochre, and that is a Schminke. And the second one is Monte Amiata Natural Sienna. That is a Daniel Smith. So those are the two yellows on the top, and they look very similar, but they actually paint out quite different. Monte Amiata Natural Sienna, which I tend to abbreviate as just Amiata Sienna, that is more of a yellowy color, and then the yellow ochre is more of an earthy yellow ochre. And then right above this one is the Ultramarine Turquoise, which is a Daniel Smith color. And then we've got Sennelier Cinereous, which came in my Aqua Mini that I started painting on. And then next to that is the Burnt Sienna. Burnt Sienna, this is the American Journey one. If you need some like good burnt umber or burnt sienna or something, American Journey, I've really been enjoying their earth colors. And then Forest, which is a Sennelier color. That's the one I kind of accidentally picked up. And these kind of all ran together. But I have 4 greens all on that top row there that kind of ran into each other. It's Forest, which is a Sennelier color. And then we have Sap, which is from Davinci. And then Davinci Olive and Core Olive at the end. And I know that it's 2 olives in the same palette, but they're different. Core is going to do this whooshy thing and is a way more earthy color. And then the Davinci Olive is a bit of a brighter green. So then we have the first color on the second row here. You can see this is Carbazole Violet. This is a Daniel Smith color. I love how dark this one can get. It's really nice for wrist strength issues to have a really dark value color in here. Surprised me too that I put a purple in here. And then next to that we have my 2 reds. This is Quin Pink, and then next to that is Venetian. Quin Pink's from Daniel Smith, and Venetian is a Sennelier color. I tried to not have too many Sennelier colors in here, or honey-based ones, so that they would all dry down well, so I could travel with this, and then I haven't ended up traveling with it. But I think I only have 2 that are honey-based, the Cinereous and the Venetian. I don't have any other options for that. Eventually, maybe I'll switch out the Venetian for the English Red from Rosa. I really love that. And then Cerulean Hue from American Journey is also the same color as the Cinereous on the top row here, and then I would be able to travel with this palette, and that would be really nice. I think that's it. Although Rosa is also honey-based, I haven't had a problem with traveling with it. And then next to the Venetian, we have Goethite. Goethite's also from Daniel Smith, also as some of the other ones in here are. And that is a really good color for like sand texture. If you add a good bit of water to it, it just makes the sand texture for you. It's amazing. I love it. That works really well for wrist strength issues because you don't have to like, how else do you get sand texture? Do you like use a tiny brush or something? Do you splatter? I never splatter anything. So I love the Goethite. It's also really fun. It's one of those pushy colors. So like Core is whooshy and pushy, and the Buff Titanium here you can see did that, and the Goethite. Potter's Pink can be pushy as well. And next to the Goethite is Ultramarine. That's the one right below the Burnt Sienna. And that's from Davinci. That's a really good granulating ultramarine. And then after that, we have Cyan Black from Paul Rubens. Where am I going to put this? Cyan Black from Paul Rubens. That's made with Ultramarine and Mars Black. It came in like a granulating set of a few Paul Rubens colors. And then we have Buff Titanium. That's the one that pushed into the black right above the color we just painted. And to the right of that is Potter's Pink. That's a really good granulating color. That was the first one that I got that did a really good granulating texture thing. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Because I started with Sennelier colors, and Sennelier is not known for their granulation. Or ironically for their earth colors, that I'm a landscape painter, so that's kind of funny. And then next to that is the Turner Mars Black. That also is a very heavily granulating color. You could use that for like ground texture or something. I wouldn't use that one if you're trying to like get a darker value in something, though. It doesn't really have enough of the oomph, the darkness to it. And then we have the Burnt Umber from American Journey down below that, the first one on the third row. And the final one here is the green from Paul Rubens. It's made with Mars Black and Phthalo Green. Well, there you go. Let me show you the black palette. I will put in footage here after it's all dried down and everything so you can see it. I've got them horizontally here in 3 rows in pretty much the same color order. Don't ask me how I ended up with this color order. I was moving the paint cards around to try to decide what colors I wanted to have in the palette, and this is how they ended up, and I can remember where they all are, so I'm good with this. I love the arrangement, and I love the way the colors all look together. Hopefully you found this fun. I always find it fun to see what's in other people's color palettes and maybe get a chance to like move those paints around into a tin for a while and try out somebody else's color palette or something. That's always really fun. Thank you so much for watching or hanging out with me today. I will see you in the next video.